Welcome to Yeshiva Daf Shir Spanzo Luinish Vasam Yakushom Labas Yitzchok, holding in Avoda Zara Daf Lamed Hey. We reached the two dots in Amud Aleph, but a third down, maybe a quarter down the Amud, starting with the words Isio Yoishio Dvar. Now, if you remember the Mishnah says that Rabbi Shmuel was going with Rabbi Lazar, and he asked the question, he questioned. Shal Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Yeshua. So I said Rabbi Lazar. Shmuel asked Rabbi Yeshua. So Rabbi Yeshua, what's the shot that you're so machmir on, why are you machmir on cheese of goyim? Why? So he told him, the reason is because they put it into kevush of nevelo. They put it into the stomach of the nevelo. So he says, what about kevush lo'ila? When you put in the cave, it doesn't bother me. Why is it? So he doesn't know it's the cave of a Zara. You're enjoying of a Zara. So he says, so why is not also no? That was the question. So Rabbi Yeshua said, the seal varach. So one say, what says in the pasuk says, Kituvim dodechu miyayin. How do you read it? Do you read Kituvim dodechu miyayin? Kituvim dodechu miyayin. We'll see in more what it means. So he says, Kituvim dodechu, and he brings a right. So he pushed it to another question. What was the question that he asked him? So here we have what Rashi tells us, and some of the Rishonim Rashi learns. The shaila was, how do you read the pasuk? Is Ketuvim Dudecha or Ketuvim Dudaich? Is it Loshan Zachar or Loshan Nekev? Is the male talking to the female talking to the male? That's the question according to Rashi. The Tashbetz, I forget one of the Rishonim, the Rivosh. He has a tshuva on this. It says, what do you mean? He didn't know how you read the pasuk. He wants to say maybe Nikudus, maybe they were not so familiar with the Nikudus, not so muskum. Sometimes we had a machlekes how to spell the pasuk. So he wasn't sure Zosha Zachar Losha Nekev. According to Rashi, this question was completely a different subject. He asked him about the cheese of goyim. He told him, how do you read Ketuvim Dudecha, Ketuvim Dudaich? Is it Zachar and Akeva? That was the question. The Vilna Gaon learns differently. The Vilna Gaon learns that when he said Ketuvim Dudecha Miyayin, he asked him, where do you put the comma? Do you read the pasuk? Yishakeni mishakos piu Ketuvim, comma. I love your kisses, they're good. Or you read it, Yishakeni mishakos piu, give me kisses. Ketuvim Dudecha Miyayin. Your doidim, we'll see in a moment what it means, is greater than wine. That was the question. And that was a message to Rabbi Shmuel. Why, how do you read, what's the question of the pasuk? So as they go, this Vilna Gaon is brought down in the Shnei Siliyo, and say the Zroim, and the end of the Shnei Siliyo, and say the Zroim, Shnei Siliyo is an Mishnais, Shnei Siliyo Mishnah, he has the Likutim and other Mesechtes, and there he brings over the Zara. And this fits, his Vilna Gaon fits very much with the Gemara. Look at the Gemara. It says the Gemara. What is this pasuk talking about? Your doidim, your love, is greater than the wine of Torah. What is the dodecho? Rashi says, your abundance. I have greatness on Torah Shabbat, the Torah of Chazal, more than Torah Shabbat. That's what he told him. Now, according to the Vilna Gaon, that's really the question he asked him. Do you read the pasuk Ketuvim? The Fi refers to the beginning of the pasuk. It's nothing to do with comparing Yodecha to Yain. Yodecha Miyayin means Yodecha and Yain are the same. Or the way you read it is Ketuvim Yodecha Miyayin. Your doidim are greater than wine. So Rabbi Shmuel wasn't so sure. So Rabbi Shmuel told him, no, you read Ketuvim Yodecha Miyayin. You brought it right from Shemin. Tell me that doidim is greater than wine. Meaning that if Rabbanon is greater than Divrei Torah. And therefore what? That was the next sentence of the Gemara. So he told the Mashta Aiko the Shaila, why asking this question, this pasuk? So look at the beginning of the pasuk. Shekemich Kospiu Amrli Yishmor Achi Chashayk Sefsesecha Zubezu. Shut your mouth. Don't give an answer. In other words, Rabbi Shmuel is questioning the Gzeir Rabbanon. I don't understand. You do Gzeiros? Yes or no? I'm saying, what are you doing? So according to Pshat, the Rashi, he brought this pasuk with a side question. The Decho, the Daich, he was really referring to the beginning of the pasuk to give him a hint. Don't ask too many questions. The Rabban have to take with respect. According to the Vilna Gaon, he was pointing out this exact point. Kitovim the Decho miyayin. Rabban on a grid and Divrei Torah. Look at what respect you have to after that. Don't just attack it. Says the Gemara, my time. So what's the reason? So I'll tell you why you have to be so careful. It was a new Gzera D'Rabbanan. When you have a new Gzera D'Rabbanan, you cannot ask questions in the first beginning. Why? Because you start asking questions, so people will start thinking, this is not so glad, we have problems with it. But if you don't ask anything, people will accept it. After it was accepted, now you could go and be mivaret. So says the Gemara, my Gzera. So what is the Gzera? So what do you tell me? What is really the reason that they are said? So Gzera Chadasha, why? What was the real Gzera? If it's because you're enjoying Avoda Zara, it should be also Bana. So Elamai, it's not really Avoda Zara. I can say be enjoying directly Avoda Zara. So why is it also B'shtiyah? Because of Nikur. What's Nikur? Because of Nikur is that Migulim, because they leave it open and they let the snakes come in there, you have a problem of venom. Says why didn't you say? Just explain it. That's why it's also Bachilo, Rabano. That Agmo explains it. We don't even give the explanation for 12 months. Maybe someone won't accept that explanation. It'll be a zilzul. Someone told me said before. So meaning, this is a yisoid. This really connects to the famous Vilna Gaon. Vilna Gaon says, whenever you have a reasoning of Rabbanon, there's many layers to it. I want to give you a little bit of a layer. There's much more to it. I don't want to give you now the reasoning, and you'll think that's the main reason. Memele, you will, you won't take it so seriously. I'm not giving you the reason. I'd say, did not explain himself. Yeshua just told Rabbi Shmuel, be careful. Leave your Rabbanon. Take it with with comfort. Said the Gemara, said, 1 second, I don't like this explanation. That it is because of Gilui, because of a Nochosh. If it dried up, it became cheese, Tishteri, Yashon, if it's old, Tishteri, if you have venom of a snake, it's not allowed to dry out. Yashon Mutar, doesn't give it to become old. So if I have the simanim, it'll be okay. There's always a little bit of milk inside the cheese. Cheese, those days, are hard cheese, but there's some liquid remain there. And it may be that the venom is in the liquid. So it could be the other parts of the cheese that became hard or became old. They're not poisonous. But the liquid that is there maybe is poisonous. The reason it's usher is because they use the skin of the keva to put the cheese in it and make it stand, make it hard. The only problem is because it's the skin, because it's the height. But if it would be the keva itself, what is the keva? Keva means the pirsha. Pirsha means the liquid that comes out of the stomach. That is not a problem for me. How can the shul say that? You're not allowed to enjoy the keva. Keva means the liquid coming out of the keva or of a goy, of a nevelo. So what do you mean? Every goy animal is nevelo. You didn't do shchita kshera. Kevas, shchitas, or kachovim nevelo, asura. You're not allowed to enjoy the keva. We just like the shul said the problem is because of the skin, not because of the cave itself. According to him, the cave is also a problem. So the kasher the Avoda with base kan koidim chazara kan chazara mishal zazim mikram. What's the chazara? So we said the Rabbi Shmuel, right in the beginning, Rabbi Shmuel asked Rabbi Shmuel, why is cheese a problem? So he told him because they make it stand, make it hard, and a nevelo. She says if it's a nevelo, it still should not be osir. It's not worse than oilo. So now because of Nevela, because of the Zara. So the beginning he said Nevela, and he changed his mind. So based on the beginning, we said Nevela is a problem. Shmuel said it was a problem. But then when Mishnah changed his mind and said the Nevela is not a problem, so then Shmuel said it's not a problem. So when we have over here, the Mishnah that Shmuel explained, that there it says Kevo of Nevela is a problem, was the Mishnah before we came to the conclusion that Nevela is okay. And what we say in the Maskana is that Nevela is okay. That's the Maskana of the Mishnah. Says and Mishnah doesn't mean Kramer. Once we have a Mishnah, even though they change their mind, we don't change the Lush of the Mishnah because they have to remember. Says more Malchi Om Shmeida Avad Ba'av Omar Bish Machlikim Poneo B'Shuman Chazir. You know what the issue is? They put on it fat of a pig. The cheese of the goyim. They put on it the Shuman Chazer. He holds it on with vinegar.
What's wrong with that?
What?
What's wrong with that?
The vinegar means the wine turned to vinegar. Use arla. The sap that comes out of the trees of arla. If you use the sap of arla, also considered to be a fruit. The sap is considered to be a fruit. So how do we go with that mandama? Bishur that argues. Only in the sap coming out of the branches. Katu the beer when you have sap coming out of the fruits. Moidu that's also. And that's what we talk about over here. So Mamidu means that he makes it stand up, makes the milk turn into cheese. I heard if you use the sap of the leaves or the ikrim, called the branches, the trunk, it's mutter. Or the serve a pogim, but the fruits also Bishu period. That's going to Bishu. Says the Gemara, Bein Le'av Chizda that said because they put in the Avoda Zara. Bein Le'av Nach B'Yitzchak because of Arlo. Titasar Ba'ano. If you have a din of Avoda Zara, also Ba'ano. If it's a din of Arlo, should be also Ba'ano. Right? It says the Gemara, Kasha. So you kasha. If the problem is because of that, it's Kasha. But what maybe the Chur is a Kasha, not to Yuvta. Because it means that maybe it's Exer Ba'alma. It's not similar to what we said earlier in the Masechta. And then this back. The Pshat is like, it's not a for sure, it's only a maybe, so we're not going to do so much. Right? Because the Pasuk says in Shirashim, it's the same Pasuk, right? I mean, right after the Pasuk that says, the next Pasuk is, so he says, which is a type of perfume. If it's open, the smell goes around and gives a good smell to the world. If it's covered not, the Mechachim who teaches Torah is influencing other people. Things that are covering him will be revealed because he's teaching Torah. Will be loved by him. Machamovis loves him. He's above death. So when you have the when the oil, it has a good smell, which means it's revealed, which means the Mechacham is teaching Torah to others, so he gets all the alemois, things are covered and revealed to him, and he's above the Machamovis, and he's Neichash Terlums. What? What it means Machamovis loves him means that he's over, he has power over the Machamovis. That's Al Movis we see over here. Okay, says the Gemara, says the Mishnah. Ve'elu dvarim shel kachavim asurim ve'isurim yisurim no. the following are the things of a goy that are asur, but it's not also bad. No, what is that? Cholav shechol boy kecholvi meisol reu. Here is the source, his beginning. Get the idea of cholav a milk. If the guy milked it and Yisrael did not see, it's also the apas. What? Maybe he switched it. Maybe he switched the milk. Maybe he put it in different milk. The apas, the bread, the shemen, the oil, shaloi. And now we'll see reason that has to do with harchaka, not to marry them. Rabbi Rebbeinu itir shemen. Rabbi was mati the shemen. So Rashi says it's not Rebbe, it's Rabbi Yehuda Nesio, who was his grandson. He was an Amoyer. We should mention it before. The Nesio is in the end of the generation, is a much later generation. V'ashlokos, which means anything that a guy cooked is also. The kvashim, which he pickled them. They put into the wine and vinegar. Vetris trufo is small fish, which is salted. Vetzir shein bodogo klovish boy. So tzir is like the fish brine. If you don't have that fish called doga klovis is grows in this fish brine. If the fish brine is kosher, it will grow this thing called doga klovis. And if the fish is not kosher, it won't grow doga klovis. We'll get to that later in the Gemara. V'achilik, which is small fish, and they have like other fish that are tummy that join them. V'kur shel chaltis, which is a type of fruit, Rashi says, and they cut it with a knife, and the problem is because of the knife. Umelach shal nodis, which we'll see in the Gemara what it means. So I know it's also to enjoy it, to use it, but it's not yisubana. Says the Gemara, Chol my nechush. Oh, 1 second. We said, I skipped. I ran to tell you what the Gemara is going to discuss right away. So Gemara says, Chol the my nechush. What do you choishish by milk? Maybe we'll say, like I said, that you switch it. You switch the milk. So Gemara, no, that we actually should not be choishish it. Why not? Tor chiver. Tar is white. Tome yoroi. Tome is like greenish. It's like a little different color. Maybe he's going to mix it up. He's going to mix the chalav tome and chalav tar. Nekum. Make it stand. Make it cheese. The only thing it can be cheese is only kosher milk, not kosher animals, not treifah, not tome animals. Even if it's cheese, you're right. You can figure it out. He needs it for some food. He needs the milk for the food, not for the cheese. Maybe you think a little bit and see if it stands as cheese. Meaning, even when you have regular cheese, some parts don't become hard. They stay liquid. So it could be you can make a cheese and you'll see that 80% is hard and 20% is not. So I think it's not because of cholav tome, it's because every cheese, not everything becomes hard. There's some holes in the cheese. So that's why you never know it's because of cholav tome or because that's the natural way of doing cheese. Even if you're talking about cheese and they use it for cheese and make it hard, there's always a little bit of it that the first one is nisyoivi, meaning that nisyoivi means like a little bit of strings or of milk that stay. Rashi calls it mishko. Mishko is like a little bit of what's the word in English? Nisyoivi de chalba is the whey. So whey, he's thinking that's the whey. Second part of the Gemara is even when I do it fully cheese, there's always parts that remain that stay between the different pieces, and therefore, right in the middle of the holes of the cheese, you have parts, and that could be the cholav tameh. So I don't know. Maybe he put in their cholav tameh.
Is the first answer saying so the cheese itself would be good? I mean, the only problem is what's left in the
Yeah, because the first answer is saying it's not that you have.
The second answer is saying it's in the cheese itself.
Right.
The non-kosher milk is going to
gather in the holes.
So the cheese itself is not right.
Right. The first answer is if it's cheese, you'll be fine. But when it's not cheese and you want to test it out, then you'll think it's very part of the way, and it's not. You're not gonna think too much about it.
Because even the kosher milk will also.
It has some way that stays out, right? So the Gemara says that's the problem. The problem is we think cholot tov, maybe cholot tov. Some of that pass the bread. Don't have kind of pass to who show me basic. I'm telling you a statement. Bread of a guy is not mutter. Michlal di kaman the shari. Mashra, he's coming to exclude some other opinion. I hold it is mutter. Says in he went to the field. He in front of Pas Purni. He gave him a bread which is from a oven, a professional oven, commercial oven. Ma'afis seyo. What beautiful, such a good, nice bread. Why Chacham said you can't eat the bread? So someone said, what do you mean? All these other items of the Mishnah is because of Chazal. I want you to get too close to the goat. Why do they say that when you're out in the field, it's awesome? People thought Rebbe is not the pass. Rebbe Loi is serious a pass. He didn't matter. He questioned it, he thought about it, but it was not matter. That's not the story. He went to a place. There was not enough bread over there. The bakery is too small. They couldn't feed the entire yeshiva. There's no bakery over here. They thought he meant there's no Goyish bakery. He meant Pal Yisrael. Even if you hold it, you could use a Goyish bakery. It's only if you don't have a Jewish bakery. You can't use a Goyish bakery. It's only in the field. In the city, you don't use a Goyish bread because of chastas. He was eating bread in the Bei Mitzri, which means in the fields. He would eat bread of a goy. Don't speak. Don't speak to him. He's eating bread of akum. We don't just communicate with him. Halaisa says brought down that we are makel the pasakum. We are makel. Paspalter. We are makel. I mean, not the one who's made in his house, the one who's made in a bakery. We are makel in it. But a machmir is better. That's based on our Gemara. And that's what we have, that says to be tshuva, even someone who's not makta paspalter the whole year, she makta that says to be tshuva. So this is where the halacha comes. We have this idea, but our Gemara, and maybe we'll get back to it later. Travis should we'll start the shoe with that tomorrow. But that our Gemara is saying pretty strictly that pas of a goy is awesome. It's awesome. Our Gemara says yes.
Like Wonder Bread and that stuff. Like
Yeah, according to that. So we'll see. I'll bring tomorrow. I want to start tomorrow with the Shulchan Aruch, where we find the halachas regarding the pas.
With a lot of shkachas on these breads, a lot of shkachas, it's